one day, he overhears one of the young girls being violently punished at their house. Here's Craig to tell you what happens next in 25 francs.
I served in Togo, West Africa in the early 1990s. My favorite part about being a Peace Corps volunteer was just experiencing the small moments that I had with the many people I got to know so well. Now, I lived in a small village of about 2,000 called Asrama. And off Asrama's main road, past the village soccer field, was my house, a 3-room cement brick house with a tin roof and a dilapidated front porch. Now, my house shared a compound with one other family, with Dowie, his wife, and their many children. Dowie was a very well-respected man. He was the area's middle school science teacher. He loved his job, he loved his students, and he loved his family. And I came to love them too. They took good care of me, went and brought me water from the village pump when I needed it, filled me in on the gossip going around town, and occasionally invited me over for the evening meal, cornmeal mush or rice with hot and spicy fish sauce, and sometimes, when there wasn't a lot of food, just some bread and tea. Now, their children were a great source of entertainment for me. We would while away the evenings, late into the night, just sitting around my porch, me in my big red chair, them flopped all over each other, sitting down around me, and we'd tell stories. I'd read from my Aesop's Fables book that I brought with me, and them telling tales from their Aja heritage that was passed down to them. And story time usually followed a similar pattern. It began in French with the greetings. Bonsoir, monsieur. Bonsoir, Akubi. Bonsoir, monsieur. Bonsoir, Satan. Bonsoir, monsieur. Bonsoir, Asibi. And Komi, and Komlavi. And the twins, Sagro and Zizou, like that. You know, Akubi was the eldest. She was about 10 at the time. She was my biggest helper. Whereas the others only spoke Aja from their homes. Akubi had been to school for several years. And she was learning French and was a novice, just like me. Akubi and I became close friends. And on this certain Monday, we sealed our friendship forever. Now, Mondays in Asrama are called Asibe. That's market day. That's the one day a week where families can go to the market and buy their things for the week. Akubi, being the eldest, was often sent there. With a list and some money, it was her duty to go get food staples for all of us. And on that Monday, I recall her coming back, bags full, happily walking through the soccer field that had overgrown grass because it was a rainy season after all. Now on that day, she seemed as happy as can be. Being the eldest has its advantages, and Akubi felt it. But when she went into her house, there was something terribly wrong. I was listening from my house, just 30 feet away, and there was a loud commotion. And then yelling, and then screaming, and then a slap of skin. Akubi was crying, hysterically, because her dad was incensed that she had not brought back 25 West African francs in change. The pit of my stomach froze. What was going on? Whereas I understood that in native cultures, parents often do not spare the rod. But here was Dowie, an educated man. He knew better, I thought. And that was Akubi, my Akubi. I froze in my dilemma. I wanted it to stop, but I didn't know what to do. Do I go over, confront Dowie, tell him what he did was wrong, and stop the beating? Or do I just stand back and let it all be? As in the Peace Corps, we are advised to stand back and not impart our own values on our host. Well, I wasn't sure what to do. Still not. Then Akuvi shot out of the house, still crying, hysterically, running towards the soccer field. Her dad wanted her to find that 25 French franc coin, which was worth just about 10 cents in America. And she was crying and sobbing, so I thought this might be my opportunity to help out. So I grabbed a few things from my house, and I went out to the soccer field. And we were searching in that field together, looking desperately. She still crying. After 10 minutes, we realized there was no coin out there. What was going to happen? Was she just going to return to the house and have more of the beating? So I thought maybe I can help out. Although all eyes were on us, and Dawi had insisted that Akuvi be the one to find that coin, I wanted to do what I could. So I quietly and carefully took a 25 franc coin out of my pocket. And when Dawi's view was obstructed, and when Akuvi was looking away, I gently dropped the coin in the tall grass. And I pretended to continue to search. And she searched. And she searched. Until she found it. When she looked down at it, it was as if she found a nugget of gold. She was thrilled. She picked it up, looked at me. Her tears had baked dry from the hot sun. She showed it to me without talking, wrapped it up in her cloth, and ran back through the field joyously, as children should. She went into the house, and there was no more commotion. In fact, from what I could recall, Dawi had never let his hand on any of his children ever again. And I always wondered why. Was it because someone else had confronted him? Or was he just embarrassed because I had made eye contact with him? It wasn't until I became a father, several years later here in San Francisco, that I think I know what happened. Dawi, being the good man he was, realized he had done wrong, and he self-corrected. Men are like that. Now there was a calm over our compound for the rest of the day. And when nighttime came and the stars shone bright, I sat on my porch in my big red chair, satisfied with myself that I had helped solve this problem without anyone detecting what I had done. The perfect Peace Corps move. And as they did so often, the children filed out of their house and walked the 30 feet to my porch. In a single line, Akuvi was first. And as she approached me on my porch, she paused right in front of me, made eye contact, and in a whisper that no one else could hear, she said, "Merci."